Just on Saturday, when your team score 3 goals, could have scored plenty more, are you able to enjoy performances like that?
I don't know. Enjoyment. Yeah, it's good to see us playing well. It's good to see the players enjoying it. But I suppose during it, it's more to do with just trying to process what's going on. You know, I suppose you've got your work head on. So I'm wary of people getting a little bit ahead of themselves and people getting carried away. It's a good result. We've been playing pretty well all season, and the challenge is now to remain at a high standard of performance, and with that, hopefully, will come more good results. But you know, it was a pleasing performance, but yeah, there's still work to do. There's always work to do.
And when you mention getting carried away, do you have to talk to the players at all to make sure they don't get carried away, or is that something they can police themselves?
That's a too general a question. I think it would be different people have different reactions to performance. I think, look, the most important thing is that we remain on a sort of a level-headed, really. So when things aren't going well, it's the same thing for me. It's not. We can't be reactive like in the same way that maybe your jobs are to speculate on why things are going badly or well, or they're or they're in between. Who cares? It's one of those where my job is to try to keep a level head on where we are and what we're doing. So we've got a big week coming up now before the break, international break comes ahead and goes ahead, and we've got 3 games in which we want to do well in. So I don't really think about it in the same way that you may think that I mull things over. All I would say is that the players remain very focused in training. They are they're training very well, and it's good to see that they're able to enjoy each other's company but still work in a very professional way, and that's really the types of standards that I think we all look for in professional football. It's to try and get the best out of what we have, and to continue to find a way to improve our performance, and that's what we'll be striving to do.
Yeah. How do you manage the squad this week with Preston Saturday and then 2 long away trips next week?
Well, we've already got plans in place for the travel arrangements and how we recover from games, because they are long journeys, as you'll know yourselves when you're covering us. I mean, it's so we'll try and recover the players as well as possible. But the most important thing is the performances during the three games. So that will be the emphasis of how the week goes. And I suppose if you ask any player, they'd rather be playing games. You know, the training, we just adjust the volume of training to complement and to enhance performance. That's what training's always about. You know, for players who are not playing a lot, they need extra work. The players who are playing almost every game, again, they have different needs, but we have to make sure that they are right for match days. That's what it's all about.
That's rain, if people are wondering what the noise is in the background. In terms of health, how are the squad looking for Saturday?
Yeah, we're okay. I mean, it's as we were. We don't have any further problems. A number of our players had a run out in the under-21s at Sheffield Wednesday on Monday, which was good for them. So yeah, we're okay. We're in the same sort of situation as last week.
And you spoke in-house about Thomas Callas yesterday, October, November, a return. What is the injury exactly at the moment? What is he recovering from?
Well, it's a knee injury, but I can't give you any more than that. It's just he's had a procedure which is a difficult one to access. It's in a part of the knee, at the back of the knee, which is difficult to access because of the amount of tissue and layers of tissue to get through. So, it's just quite an unusual injury. But he's doing really well.
And is Sol Bamba still training at the club?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I guess there's no rush for a decision.
No, I mean it's to help Sol get fit. That's why he's here, and he's thankful to be able to come in and train, and he's a very positive person around the place. So I don't have any issue with that. I've already spoken about trying to help people in the game who need a bit of a leg up. So that's really what it is.
Good news for Tommy Conway, a Scotland under-21 call-up. Is it just an endorsement of how he's being recognised, not just locally here at City, but Scotland as well have recognised his talent now?
Yeah, and good luck to him. But he will be reminded by his teammates in particular, but also by us as staff, to very much keep himself focused on the job in hand, and that's for us. It's great for Tommy. He's had a really good, I suppose, introduction to life in the Championship this year. I mean, he made his debut against Millwall the year before, but yeah, he's done well, and hopefully that continues.
As an outsider, Preston possess a unique challenge this weekend. They haven't scored many goals this season, but they're not conceding many goals either. What do you expect from Preston on Saturday?
Well, I think you've already set the answer up, and that will be that it's a game which we may have to be a bit more patient. But I think it's really very much about how we approach the game ourselves. We're aware of what they are and what their strengths and weaknesses are, and I think it's important that we just try and replicate or even improve on our performances of late. That's what we've got to do. We've got to make sure that they don't have a comfortable time coming to our place, and it's as simple as that, really. We know that they've been quite difficult to break down at times, but yeah, we just concentrate on what we do ourselves and make sure that we are well informed about what they're about, and that's it for me. It's about us performing ourselves.
Have a good week. Thank you.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks, Rich.
I think a lot of people, including myself, have seen the positive effect that's had of changing that culture, and something that you've kind of reiterated over the last year or so. Is it exactly at a place now where you would like it in the club?
I think we're seeing signs of what we're trying to do. It's never a finished article, and teams continue to evolve, and hopefully will continue to evolve and develop in a way which is positive. But I mean, it's about the people involved in it, really. You can talk about the technical side of football, but actually the partnerships and relationships within an organisation. It doesn't matter whether it's football or anything else. If you go to work and you enjoy working with the people that you work with, and you've got respect, and it's driven with good work ethic too, then you've got a much better chance of delivering a product which is half decent, I think. So, I don't know where we are in the overall development of where we're trying to get to. We're trying to get to the Premier League, but you know we're a long way off that at the moment. But yeah, we're doing okay. But and maybe because we've played some good football too, it gives people optimism. But I don't really give it too much thought. I'm more likely to start being a bit suspicious of the situation when everybody all of a sudden thinks it's going well, because there's always something that crops up which is going to be the next potential hurdle to get over, or the problem, or whatever it is. So sorry, but I'm okay with where we are at the moment. We're doing well, but it's still early days, and we've got a long way to go before we can. Well, there's never a time that you can relax anyway, but you know, you've just got to be aware of what the situation is. It only takes a bad result here and there to shift how people think about it or perceive it. So I don't think I get too down when everybody's moaning, and I'm not going to get all carried away with it when we've won a couple of games and playing well, because we still need to keep more clean sheets, we still need to be more efficient from time to time. But I think the players are performing well, and they are also driving it themselves, which is really pleasing to see. Some are doing better than others, but I think you expect that.
What sort of characteristics do you look for in people that you bring into the building? Is there anything in particular that makes them stand out and be like...
Bring into what, sorry?
That you bring into the building, the characteristics of people, the players, the coaches?
Well, we've got to be good at what they do first. You don't bring them in just because they're pals or because they've... Yeah. It's expertise, and it's also... it's a number of things. I can't really generalise too much, but I think when you've heard me being critical of us in the past, it's been to do with a work ethic or an understanding of where people sit in the organisation, because we all have a job to do, and it's more enjoyable if people have a respect for each other and try and assist each other in doing each other's jobs. We've all got a job to do here, and people who are either there's no place for people who are either lazy or are not really interested in what we're all trying to achieve. There's no place for anybody like that, in my world anyway.
Kind of brings me next into, I've been watching Jason York with a lot of interest from the stands, and he seems to be more of an impact in the technical area. How is he settling in over the first few weeks?
I think the best thing to do is for you to ask him at some point. So ask Dave, and he'll set an interview up with you, and you can ask him yourself. But I like Yuli because he's different. He's quieter. He complements what's already here. It's nice to have a player who's played in forward positions to be on the staff. He is a bit alternative, but he'd probably say the same about me. So it doesn't matter what. It's about whether you get a blend of characteristics, but ultimately, again, he wants to be a success himself. He's career-minded. He wants to manage himself at some point, which is, I think, really important too. And so his time here hopefully will be a good experience in his career. But I like him. I think he's good at what he does. He's a good coach. So yeah, he fits in very well.
You've got that written down by the way, Dave.
He's probably said you can't do it. I'll tell Yuli to say no anyway, just to really throw a spanner in your works.
How much credit can he take for the attack this season?
I don't know. If you want to give him all of it, you can. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know, it's not about... okay, so you've asked me what's important is... Well, it's important that when things aren't going well, we all accept that we play a part in that, but I shoulder the responsibility for that. But also, everybody plays their part in either making it a success or otherwise. And but I'm sure if you ask the players that he will have had a very positive impact. I would imagine so. But he's not, I don't think he's somebody who's overly dominant. He will give little nuggets of advice and yeah, I think we all really believe in a clear message, but not too much information at one point. You know, it's more about drip feeding information and trying to allow players to evolve, but and within that we need the right leadership to give the team the if you like the framework to operate. I mean, you know, players all develop at different rates, and I'm always a believer as well that even your old senior players can still develop and get better way into the 30s. There's no reason. Well, the only thing that stops them is themselves if they've got a closed mind. So, you know, we talk about developing players and everybody always thinks about younger players, but it doesn't work like that. Everybody can develop. And we can as well, the staff.
I'm sure you're quite grateful now that the transfer window's closed. I mean, given that...
Why are we still talking about it?
Well, I was going to ask, given the lack of resources, was it as successful as you could have hoped for?
I don't think about it as lack of resources. I just think about where are we? What can we do? And have we done as much as we can? Well, we didn't do any more, so we can't do any more. So we've done fine. We've done fine. I always feel that those types of questions are, and it's not a criticism. It's just it always just feels as though people look for an angle to say, well, we'll do as a club what we can do. You know, that we want success at the football club. So there's no agenda for me or anybody else. It's trying to manage our way in the circumstances that we find ourselves in. And if we could have done more, we would have. But we couldn't, so we didn't.
But the free agent market's still open. Is that
but
you'll consider?
I've said I'll bring players in if they make us better. So I know we don't have a lot of numbers, but what's the point of bringing players in who aren't going to affect the quality of the team? There's no point for me. There may be players out there, I don't know. Well, I do know, but you know, the fact that that players are still out there will suggest that there are reasons why deals aren't done. And I think you're aware of what the most important one is, and that is the financial implications for football clubs. Everybody is finding the climate to operate in very different. So there are Premier League clubs who are having problems. So you know, it's all relative to your own circumstances, and we will endeavour to continue to build our squad and develop it at the rate that we can. Now that doesn't mean that we don't discuss it internally. That you know there are discussions that we don't all agree on, but I think that's healthy.
Yeah, I've seen George Tanner twice this season.
Yeah.
Playing in centre back. Is that a position that?
We might need to play.
Is that a position that he's right to retrain in centre back?
No.
In that role?
No, not really. He's a defender. And if he's played at right back or or right wing back, he should understand what a centre back does. It's, you know, he's got the physical attributes, and it's not just about teaching players. It's about them having the awareness to know that what their route into the side might be. So Alex Scott played 37 times last year and played some as a right-sided player, you know, like a right, not winger, but a wide midfield, a wing-back midfield player. He played loads of places. So I'm not suggesting that everybody should do that, but George is capable of defending, so and he might need to play there. So he better understand what it is. It's okay.
Hi, Lodge. Antoine Semenyo was obviously the other player that got called up for international duty. You still
Yeah.
phase back into the first team. Will there be discussions perhaps with the Gardner FA and how he's going to be
Yes.
managed?
Yeah, good question, because we need to make sure that his recovery continues, because it is with the nature of his injury, it's really important that we are mindful of the amount of exposure. So hopefully the Ghanaian FA will be sympathetic to our requirements and the players' requirements, because I think Chris would like him fit for the World Cup, and obviously Antoine wants to be available for us and for the national side. So yeah, common sense should prevail, I think.
Yeah, but how do you manage that? And obviously, playing at a World Cup obviously would be a great achievement for Antoine.
Yeah, but that's still, you know, a few months away, in which it's continued recovery time. So by the time he gets to that point, hopefully we're not thinking in the same sorts of terms.
And in regard to him being phased back, was there ever any consideration him to play in the under-21s, or was it always a case of doing training sessions and then
We just decided that actually for him, bringing him back as an impact player in the first team was better.
And then I remember last season you had a discussion with Wayne where you said that you had a formidable attack and you were one of the best in the league. At the moment we're seeing Wells, Wyman and Conway, and what's their potential in regards to how last season's attacking trio were?
Well, so far so good. It's just nice to have different options. I think that's the main point in all of this. It's I think a year or so ago we were talking about the necessity of going out spending money on a striker, and you know, we had a bid for a player turned down in the January window, strangely enough, but you know, because as seasons go and you know, circumstances change. We've got the same people in the building, but the circumstances are a bit different now, and a lot of it's to do with how people come in and out of form. And I suppose one of the unknown parts of all of this is somebody like Tommy Conway's development himself. He's taken his chance very well and is there on merit, and at the moment he's keeping Antoine out the side, or Antoine doesn't have an opportunity at the moment because other players are playing well. So that's always the best way of being, is that the players drive the selection process through their form. You know, it's I say it many times that players can deselect themselves sometimes, but actually the best thing to do is for players to play so well that it's difficult to make any changes. That's the best way.
I know obviously a lot of those players went in the under-21s in the week.
Yeah.
Was it a case of, did you pass it to Alex Sport? Perhaps you wanted to see 5 players play, and was it a case of
it's down to what's needed. Look, it's more it's a fitness and a trying to keep some sort of competitive edge to players' games. So, when I saw the game, and my expectations of what players get out of it are maybe different to how other people see it, but it's always a good exercise for players to have some competitive action, and we were able to to do that at Wednesday on Monday. So yeah, it was good to see them. I thought some of the youngsters did great as well, so it's always a good.
Thank you very much.
Nudge. Chris Martin's had to take up more of a supporting role so far this season.
Yeah.
Down to the strikers for. What's his response been like to that? And have you had any discussions with him over his role?
No, not had any. No, it's just a like I say, selection is based on what we think is right, and Chris knows he will. He has to be patient and wait for an opportunity. He gives us a different option as well. So yeah, it's one of those things. It's a part of being in a squad of players, and when you've got a department or an area of the team that's doing particularly well, that's one of the things that players have to deal with.
Cool. And 3 home wins on the spin now. How important do you think the record at Ashton Gate might be this season in terms of reaching a goal of playoff?
It's always, look, home form's always important. We've had long spells where we've struggled at home, and that's really not an easy thing for the players to deal with, and for our fans as well. I think it's important that we give our fan base something to get behind. And I think even when we haven't won games, hopefully they can see that the team's committed, and that's really a very important part of I think what you deliver out on a match day is that the team have a level of commitment, and that their work ethic is very, very evident. I think that's something which has to underpin what you do. But I mean, I don't think there are too many teams that achieve success that don't have a good home record, so it's important.
Thanks so much. Cheers.
Okay.